Yes. Hello there. My name is Hailey and I will be teaching parts of the violin one part of Incantations today. There are other violin ones also doing this, so I'm not going to go into incredible depth on this. I'm mostly going to go over basics like paying attention to dynamics and that sort of thing, because I know that other people can handle other parts better. Also, I've never actually played this. I believe this was an Irwin Kids thing. So take my opinion with a grain of salt, but here we go. Now the first part starts off pianissimo, and it looks like it's a harmonic, so make sure that you're actually nailing that harmonic. If you're not, I recommend just putting down your finger to make that high noise, but it's supposed to technically be a harmonic, so work with it. There's a solo in piano, which means that the need to be pianissimo is even greater during that part. If you skip ahead to measure 9, you fade out there, and then you're even quieter than pianissimo for measures 10 and 11 until you crescendo to mezzo forte with the whole and that part should be a bigger moment. It's like the main theme, especially during this slower part. So make sure to make that crescendo in measure 11 noticeable. Going through, fade back to piano at measure, and end up at piano at measure 20. So like from 16, and not from 17, it's like I ended up on the wrong bow stroke, but same idea. Just make sure to make your fade outs noticeable. And it's even harder to hear this sort of difference over a video camera, so you're gonna have to really emphasize it. There's a larger crescendo at 22 with the There's also a fade out at measure 23, I forgot to mention. I did not quite hit those very well, which might be why it's harder to tell in the recording. So if I want to actually do this well from piano to forte, it'd be like... I always mess up 23. It might help to record yourself at your highest and lowest sound. Not highest and lowest, loudest and softest sound, just to make it easier for yourself to hear. There's a gradual crescendo all the way from 24 to 28, so it's important to get that in there as well. The slow parts are kind of my favorites because you get to add all this sort of detail in there, and fast parts make my head hurt. So from 24 it'd be... And then that slow fade out at 28 to the pianissimo at 29. So you're even quieter there, because the first time we did this part, it was mezzo forte. Da, na, 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 na. Now it's pianissimo. With that little crescendo right before 33 to the rest of it. We've got pianissimo during the notes at 37, 38, fading out at 40. Most of the rest of it's pretty simple from then on out. You get the allegro at not my favorite part, but it sounds cool, so whatever. It changes to spiccato, so you're gonna have to be careful of keeping it pianissimo while still being spiccato. Other than that, that should be good. Bit of a crescendo at 49. I'm just trying to hit all of the parts that I think would mess with me. If you're having trouble with all these really fast notes all at once, it helps that they're like two of a kind all at once. So you can, if you're having trouble with, let's say, let me find a measure. Yeah, the basic part, like if you're having trouble with that whole part, you can take it slower than that, like just work until you've got the fingerings and then add the additional bow strokes. And that goes with most of this, and that would be what really would screw me up. It's still important to look at your dynamics during this part. Like, you start at you start piano at 48, end up at forte at 51, so there's that crescendo. But you don't stay at forte, don't just keep hammering away, because then there's at 68. That part's all in piano, so. It might be slower or faster than that. I'm kind of going with it. And then that gradual crescendo to forte at 72, and then right back to piano at 73 from and then fortissimo at 77. Fortissimo lasts 2 measures, so make sure you don't just immediately drop back to forte. What I find interesting is that 78, this fast part that's all up in the stratosphere, is slowly decrescendoing back to piano from forte, not even from fortissimo to from fortissimo to piano. And then of course you got pizz, which is usually piano anyway. Let's see. Arco at 102. And that one's all much lower, but it's all forte, so it's that whole section. Fortissimo at 109. That looks fun. I'm not gonna try to play that on camera right now, because unlike some of the others, I'm not as well rehearsed in this piece. Looking through, you'll notice that in 148 it says frantically. So even though it's piano, it's implying franticness, and I get that in like a regular orchestra setting, that would mean a bit faster tempo, it's starting to sound frantic and that sort of thing, but see if you could still convey frantic without messing with your metronome too much. Like just adding more energy maybe, like, I don't know if you would like, I'm not entirely sure how that would come across, but it's worth experimenting. And there's not much else I can add. I'm sure that my peers have added more, but that's just some general stuff that would trip me up with this piece. Good luck.